Good morning, I'm Brian Lenz with a look at your local news. RCMP in the border city are investigating after 20 handguns were stolen from a local business. Police say 2 suspects in a stolen vehicle breached the front entrance of the store located in the 5700 block of 43rd Street around 3:30 Thursday morning. The stolen vehicle was recovered a few hours later just west of Lloydminster. Anyone with information is asked to call RCMP. And the City of Lloydminster is looking to upgrade traffic signal hardware in the city near the end of November. In 2014, the city retained a consultant to perform an assessment on existing traffic systems and found several areas that required upgrading.
And what that entails is upgrading some of our existing traffic signal hardware, so anything from push buttons to traffic poles to LED replacements, etc., based on their life expectancies.
The study also identifies upgrades to traffic controller systems, something that can alleviate frustratingly long waits at traffic lights.
Well, the controllers are really the brains of the traffic signals at each intersection. So they control when the green time, how much green time goes on for each cycle, how much red, yellow, and all those key pieces, as well as how much time the pedestrian crossings are.
The upgrades to traffic control systems this year will be focused on the downtown area. LED traffic light upgrades will be taking place at various intersections throughout the city. And with Halloween just around the corner, the city really seems to be getting into the spooky spirit of the season. The Lloydminster Comp Improv Club has taken a different twist by taking a more comedic approach to the ghoulish holiday.
Any object, an object that might fit in your pocket.
This marks the 6th straight year the Improv Spectacular has been running and coordinated by club director Simon Sang. Although the club performs the shows every month, the Halloween theme holds a little more excitement for both the audience and its performers.
It's something new. Anytime with improv, you want to always keep ideas fresh. You want to keep the kids on their toes. So any sort of topical themes that we can roll with are always helpful. Helps spark new ideas and stuff. So it's kind of with the whole feeling of the season.
We get to make it spooky, and normally we have to be really positive, which can be awesome. But at the same time, sometimes you just want to have some blood and some ghosts and skeletons and stuff. So it makes it exciting.
The show is filled with laughs, spooks, unpredictability, and over-the-top costumes that came together for one very entertaining night.
If you didn't make it out to this one, there's going to be several opportunities for you to come check one out in the future, and I highly recommend you do. We run monthly shows the last Thursday of every month, so yeah, everybody's welcome.
There was no shortage of events to keep busy this weekend. Heather Klages has the details in this week's edition of What's Happening.
Get out your Halloween costume, get all decked out, because tomorrow night you can head out to the Lloydminster Classic Oilfield Bandits annual Halloween Bash. It's going to be at the Kinsman Hall here in Lloydminster. The party gets started at 9 o'clock. You can get tickets for $25. Just give Greg a call, 780-214-3880. Next Friday night, the legend of George Jones will be brought to life in Paradise Hill at the Community Center. Dwayne Steele will be in town, and he'll sing some great songs made famous by George Jones and probably tell a few stories about his incredible life too. If you want to get your tickets, stop by Paradise Hill Ranch in Western Wear. As you gear up to greet all those trick-or-treaters coming up on Tuesday night, we've got a great treat for you. We'd love it if you won yourself a copy of this album from Ringo, Postcards from Paradise. It's really easy. All you have to do is email your name and daytime phone number to tvcontests@newcap.ca. We want to say thanks to John at Universal Music Canada for hooking us up with the music. And pumpkin pie just might be on the menu coming up on Sunday as Lone Rock hosts their fall supper. They'll start serving up at 4:30 at the Hall. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, I hope you have a great one. I'm Heather Klages, and that's what's happening.
This is Newcap Sports.
The end of round-robin play at the Pinty's Grand Slam of Curling Masters marks the start of quarter and semifinals. Of the 30 teams at this year's event, one is receiving a little more noise from Lloydminster fans. Lance Phillips with more on the only team representing the east side of the border city.
Saskatchewan, the home of the Athabasca Sand Dunes, Canada's first automated teller machine, and Steve Laycock. 75% of the Yorkton Natives rink are from the province, and being Saskatchewan's lone representative at this year's Grand Slam of Curling Masters is a fact that suits his players just fine.
I mean, it's awesome. Saskatchewan loves curling. You can always see it anytime there's a Grand Slam in Saskatchewan City. It supports it hugely, and this has been no exception. It's been a great crowd here in Lloyd, too.
I think you go to about 10, 15 places in Saskatchewan and you'd get sold-out crowds like you get in Lloyd. And the crowd here has been amazing, and we see that everywhere we go in Saskatchewan. It's just fun, and I'm obviously biased. And when the crowd is here, when we're at home, they're cheering for us, so it's pretty cool.
But just being in Lloydminster isn't enough for Laycock's team. With the spiel taking place on the Sask side of town, there's extra incentive to perform well.
The pressure is quite a bit because you want to put on a good show for the people that are paying to come see good shots from the Saskatchewan team, but it's amazing. We go to some place, we play in an empty building, there's no atmosphere, it's no fun, but you come to Saskatchewan, you want to put on a good show for all the Saskatchewan people, for sure.
I mean, obviously we'd like to represent well, but for us it's a building step. We have the Olympic trials coming up, so obviously we want to start getting our performance moving in the right direction, so this is a big event for us, and just to get our season going too.
In March of this year, Colton Flash, the team's second since 2012, left Team Laycock, leaving a void quickly replaced by Winnipeg's Matt Dunstone. It marks the first time in the last half-decade Laycock's rink has had someone from outside Saskatchewan.
It's cool to obviously meet new people, become close with them and see what their lifestyle is all about, and just to experience curling in Saskatchewan. I mean, I've been curling in Manitoba for as long as I can remember, and just to see these new curling clubs, to see the new faces in the club, get to know new people, I mean, just that alone is a pretty cool experience for me.
Everything changes a little bit with one new guy, so working on the communication and just what each other needs to hear, and the throwing part will come. I mean, we're not quite where it needs to be right now, but it will.
It's clear the young relationship forged is becoming stronger daily, but there is still one area of clear difference between the Manitoba product and the rest of his new team.
I'm not a CFL fan entirely, but I think we avoid the conversation of riders and bombers just for the sake of creating no tension on the team whatsoever. So we leave the CFL talk aside.
We have jokes about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and Saskatchewan Rough Riders, and as if that actually matters to him. I don't think it actually does, but we pretend like it does, and we have a good little rivalry there.
Lance Phillips, Newcap Sports, Lloydminster.
One of the NHL's most polarizing figures may be Theo Fleury. The ex-Calgary Flames great finished his 16-year NHL career walking away from the Chicago Blackhawks amidst a troubling life of drug and alcohol addiction. Our Lance Phillips sat down with the Stanley Cup champion for an exclusive one-on-one interview, and it's one you don't want to miss.
Short periods.
You mentioned the gun in your mouth, and I found that fascinating. In recent years, we've seen a lot of hockey players that have died, have taken their own lives.
Yep.
How was the world so fortunate that Theo Fleury did not take his life on that day?
It was just divine intervention, you know. It was like a millisecond before I was going to pull the trigger, something, a thought, or, you know, the universe, or whatever the hell you want to call it. You know, put this thought in my head, said, you've never quit anything in your life. Why are you quitting now? And I went, oh, right, you know. And it allowed me to take the gun and throw it into the desert. And, you know, that was the start of, you know, my healing process, because I surrendered to living instead of dying, because that's what I was doing. Basically, I was dying, I wasn't living. And I surrendered to living and just sort of said, you know, take me wherever I need to go, right? Because I don't want to run the show anymore. I've tried to run the show, and this is where it got me, right? So there's a certain piece of surrender that has to happen, right? And that's the spirit.
The full 5-part interview begins Monday, October 30th and airs through to Friday, November 3rd on Newcap News.